So back in the day, they used to use vinyl records as a format for music on the radio, and this lasted for quite a while, up until digital took it over. The BBC was no exception for this, having a vast, large sound archive, which also lasted as a large catalogue for all the music housed in 13 volts, perfectly climate controlled, so no damage can ever happen to them, just in this chamber underground, like in some kind of huge library, just sat in a huge cultured time warp. Now there has been rumours for years, probably going back as far back as the 70s, about whether this collection even existed. However, at the start of 2024, the BBC started to sell part of this collection, and when I mean part of this collection, I mean 285,000 records. And they all went under the hammer. Many, if not all of these records are first and second issues, very early copies, and have been preserved in the archive for their entire lifetimes. Yeah, so that kind of brings us on to the records we have today, which is Fragile by Yes and Led Zeppelin 4, which is two very iconic albums, but probably not in the way you're going to see them today. So as you can see, it's quite different to a normal Led Zeppelin 4 album cover. It has these holes that are just punched like right into like the front of the album cover. It also has this like kind of library book type thing with like library entries. New please return promptly, and then the stereo entry. Also, what band the song is on and where the scratches are. This one doesn't have any marks, and it actually plays very nice. And there's another please return promptly stereo. This is the 7th record, the 7th copy of this particular album, and it also has a barcode at the top as well, and another barcode on the back, interestingly enough. So it must have been in the collection for a very long time, I'm guessing, because as you can see, the copy of the gramophone library thing in the back is typewritten, so it's quite a contrast really between that. We have a look on the inside. It's entirely laminated on the inside, so you can't actually pull this out, and as you can see, it's held in by these like weird little punched holes. And I'm guessing, and it's actually PVC as well. This is lower the brightness a bit, and like yes, and it's kind of like a library book. The copy of Fragile as well is quite similar. Again, it's got like requisition name and date of issue, but and then what what stamp and number the record is, and then what record label it is, which that one also has as well on the front. This one's the 3rd record of the 3rd copy of this album, and they must have had like, I'm guessing 10 or 15, I don't know how many. I'm struggling to find information about it online. And again, the same kind of stickers that's on the front of the Zeppelin album, the same kind of style of the same kind of holes that are punched in. But curiously enough, this doesn't have the book that comes with the album in the middle, like the sort of book full of images. That's been completely cut out and is missing, but it still has the barcode on the back, and also the typewritten BBC gramophone library with the stamp and number of the record. So interestingly, this album has been used, and as you can see, the last date on here is 25th of the 2nd, 1987, but there are no other dates of issue on here, or no others after, but there is one other signature on here, or rather just the numbers, and they probably they probably do mean something. I do think, because if you have a look, it's the 7th copy. Also, note it does have the stamp and numbers and everything on there. And like, it does actually have a little signature on it as well. So this could well have, it might be interesting to research what station or whatever this belonged to online. So these are early copies of these albums, and you'll see the difference when I compare them to the later ones. But interestingly enough, this album actually has like an interesting watermark. If you'll see it in the focus, but it actually has like a like sort of BBC Gramophone Library stamp on there, and that's the only notable difference on the records really. Other than that, they're basically the same as a normal kind of Zeppelin or Yes album copy. So I got as a side-by-side comparison a normal copy of Zeppelin 4, and this is actually a later copy, not an earlier copy, but I think late 70s, so not terribly late, as you can see by the disc. It is a bit old, it's held together by tape, but it's still an interesting comparison. But yeah, it's still interesting. But as you can see, another thing as well is these albums don't have inner sleeves like these BBC albums. So as you can see, this lovely inner sleeve with the Stairway to Heaven lyrics on. This isn't on the BBC copies, and it isn't laminated at all. Well, it's just a normal copy, isn't it? Really. So as you can see, there's not really much more to see. It's just a normal copy, but compared to this one, it's like a completely different world really. You've got you know, it's like night and day really. Same with this copy of Fragile as well. As you can see, the copy of Fragile has this book on the inside, which is absolutely lovely. The album artwork in it is beautiful really, and got pictures of the band in it and everything. It really complements the album beautifully. And then you know, rear album working. The laminate, I guess it serves a function. Obviously, when you got what is it, 700,000 copies of albums in a huge like vault underground, but it does absolutely obliterate the artwork. And yes, there's also this horrible tear on the back as well, and I do think this is probably due to the fact someone's actually tried to take this off and probably see the sticker on the front, and it hasn't gone as well as they hoped really, to be honest. So thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video interesting at least. Like, you probably heard of these albums, but you might not have even heard of the BBC like gramophone collection. You maybe might have heard of the notorious BBC archives for purging old black and white TV shows, but the gramophone collection have actually done a pretty good job, or the audio archives I should say, they've done a pretty good job of keeping all these records for a long time, and yeah, so yeah, I was quite lucky to find these albums. They're kind of interesting. I was gonna buy Houses of the Holy, but I think these are quite enough really, to be honest with you. Led Zeppelin 4 and Fragile. But anyways, thank you for watching.